As a practicing physician, I wanted to create a place that folks could go to that not only delivers great health information in a way that's understandable and useful, but also share inspirational stories to help us all grow. People think that once you're adults, you're done learning. You are not. In order to be successful, you have to have an open mind to learn. Real problems discussed in depth with real solutions. This is the Dr. Nandi Show. As a practicing physician, dieting is a question I'm asked about most in my practice. Many of my patients are suffering physically and mentally and want help. However, there are more types of diets and new fads every single day. So what do we do for long-term sustainable change? The key is to create a realistic plan that makes healthy eating a way of life. The great news is that food is medicine and our planet is rich and diverse in natural foods and nutrients. That's amazing. We can eat exciting, flavorful, healthy foods that will never bore us. And we'll talk to people looking for help and those who have found a way to permanently make some healthy changes. There are a lot of takeaways from today's guest that will help you become healthier and happier. Find out more coming up on the Dr. Nandi Show.
Eating addictions are unlike drugs or alcohol because they can really start in early childhood when you're exposed to the food, and it's more difficult to beat them because you have to eat every single day.
Welcome back. You're watching the Dr. Nandi Show. And there's so many diets around. The question becomes, how come we can't stick to one? This leads to yo-yo dieting and eating disorders. Our next guests have both struggled with their weight, just like many of you. First, we have Charles Long, who, like so many, is battling the yo-yo dieting. Charles, thank you for being on with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and so tell me a little bit about yourself. What's going on with you?
Well, I'm 21 years old and currently weigh close to 400 pounds now. I've struggled with eating and overeating since I was a kid, really, and it's really about being addicted to food. And I think that eating addictions are unlike drugs or alcohol because they can really start in early childhood when you're exposed to the food, and it's more difficult to beat them because you have to eat every single day.
In order to keep up with the addiction, right?
Right, exactly.
What are some of the challenges you've had with dieting, though? I mean, because you've been on a bunch of diets, why don't they work for you?
At times I've been on diets that have been way too restrictive, and at one point in middle school I was even anorexic for a little while. So there's been points I've been way over what I should weigh, and there's points I've actually weighed too little.
Yeah.
And it just does not work to be too restrictive.
And Pete, this is all too familiar to you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Pete Thomas, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Tell us about your story, and it sounds very familiar to his, doesn't it?
You're absolutely right. You know, at my youngest, I struggled with my weight because my mother struggled with mental illness, and we were on the go. We were transient from one city to another. So my struggles with food started because of a lack of food, because of homelessness, really that trauma that happens at an early age. And one of the things that I try to share is your emotional health is essential to your physical health. And so we have to go back and look at what happened when we were at our youngest, when these problems start, especially when we get to our size, this super obese category.
And you went on Biggest Loser, and
that's right.
Maybe tell us how successful you were in that endeavor.
Absolutely. On the Biggest Loser, I lost 83 pounds in 62 days. So that was a great jump start. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, man, that's big time.
And then lost 102 pounds at home for 185 pounds total, and was able to keep the weight off. And like I say, I set a goal to keep the weight off when the cameras were off, and that meant I had to deal with three areas. I had to deal with my mind, I had to deal with my mouth, and then I had to deal with muscle. So I had to deal with all of those different things to make the transformation permanent.
And your body and your mind, you know, Charles and Pete, and you guys know this, are hardwired, right? You're talking about something really important. If you have the experience as a child of something, of deprivation, your body will compensate, and the moment you get the idea where you're going to run out of food, your mind will overcompensate and eat more.
That's right.
Very important to understand that, because you know, people who are trained to what? Finish your plate.
That's right.
Always finish your plates. And parents out there who are listening, it's so important that the precedent you set for them. What I mean is that if you tell them to finish your plate, then guess what? Every time a child listens to that as they grow up to be an adult, they finish their plate. If you're going to say that, that's okay. Just make sure there's a reasonable amount on the plate, not pile them up with a bunch of stuff, especially unhealthy stuff, and then ask them to clean their plate. So it's really important. And the behaviors that we can address as kids really stay for us for a lifetime, right? And you were talking about this as a child, as a young man now, but as a child you're having the same problems, weren't you?
Exactly, yeah, definitely. It's yeah, it's really about finding a balance with food between what is healthy and what tastes good. And you really need to find things that are healthy that do taste good. Because when I was restricting on my diet, I was all about losing weight, eating low-calorie foods, and I wasn't, finding recipes and things that actually, taste good.
Yeah, deprivation don't work, right? That's the thing. Deprivation just does not work. Pete, you have a book out there. There's a winner within you. And tell us about that and what some tips for lasting change, not just to get that Instagram picture.
That's right.
But really lasting change.
Absolutely.
Tell me about
I like
that.
to say tips are for kids. What we need to do is we actually have to make changes, Charles. And if you want to make changes in your life, you have to change your life. There are different things that we have to actually do on a daily basis because of where we've come from, because we're so large and we've struggled with our weight for so long. And so for me, it starts when I get up in the morning. There are certain things that I have a proclamation that I say to myself. One of the things I say is I feel sexy, strong, and great.
Sexy, strong, and great, baby.
Maintain my weight at 238. You know what I mean? So I start off my day saying certain things, and then there are just certain laws that I live by. I learn to master my mind, manage my mouth, and multiply my muscles. And it can be done. I want to encourage you. It can be done. I'm here to help you with it in whatever way I can, but we can do it together.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it.
All right, absolutely. Great.
Hey, great of you, Peter.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So you said a lot of things in there, but one of the things that Pete's taught me before, people who are used to eating a large amount, you can't, and you said this really well, Charles, is that you can't then ask somebody who's eating a lot of quantity, then you just go to a tiny quantity and say you're weak. It's not really that, is it? It's expectations and what your body's used to. You've trained your body for all this time. So what he's very good at is showing you can have the same quantity, just replace it with healthier stuff. Thanks, gentlemen, for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. My pleasure. Yeah. It's amazing to have you up. Next up, we'll talk to one of the industry's most knowledgeable professionals, Florine Marks from Weight Watchers. Please stay tuned. You don't want to miss this.
What it takes is deciding that you want to do something for you. What it takes is deciding that you want to start liking yourself.
Welcome back. You're watching the Dr. Nandi Show. This is going to be great. I'm so excited to introduce to you Florine Marks. Now, Florine is the leading U.S. franchise holder of Weight Watchers International. She's used her knowledge, influence, energy, and resources to help folks help themselves. In the Midwest, she's the face of Weight Watchers. And so thank you so much. It's so kind of you to join us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you. So tell me, Weight Watchers has been on for such a long time. Why do you think that is?
Well, because we don't have diet pills. It's a healthy diet. I mean, the diet today is unbelievable compared to when I went, and I lost my 50 pounds. Because now you can eat actually whatever you want. We have a new program out called Freestyle, where we have 200 foods that are 0 points, like fish and beans and yogurt. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on. So you can really fit the program into your lifestyle. I hate the word diet. It's not a diet.
I hate the word diet too. Right. I don't believe in it.
And it's not important how long it takes you. It's important that you learn to love yourself and be healthy. And not everybody is going to be a size 2 or a 4 or a 6 or 8. You have to be the best that you are.
That's awesome. And Florine, tell me about your personal journey. You said you lost 50 pounds twice before the show?
I've been fat all my life. My mother used to tell the story. She bought my diapers in Lane Bryant's.
Oh,
that was pretty fat.
Ouch.
And I started going to diet doctors with, the diet pills, the amphetamines and all the rest of them. And I went 9 times and I lost 50 pounds each time. Kids
9 times?
9 times. The kids bullied me in school. They called me Fat Flo, FF. So, I mean, it was just hard growing up. I finally got married, had a baby, then went on and had 4 more. My husband we got divorced. I got married at 16, had a baby at 17, divorced at 18, remarried. He brought me 2 more children. And I went on and had 4 more children. That's how I got 7 children. And he lost part of his business, and he said, honey, you have to go out and work. Who's going to hire me a size 20? I mean, because I didn't like myself. Nothing changed about me. I was still pretty good smart up there. I was still kind. I was a good mother. I was a good sister. I was a good daughter. All those wonderful things I didn't think about. All I thought about was I'm a failure. I can't lose weight. No one's going to want to hire me. So I heard about Weight Watchers. It was about 4 years in New York. I went to New York, 4 months. I lost 40 pounds. I went back once a month, and I lost 40. It was a terrible diet. Oh, we could eat nothing. And they asked me to bring it back to Michigan. So I started here in Michigan, and it took me 1 year to lose the last 10. But I did it. So it's not important how long, but I learned to really respect myself. We don't sell a diet. We sell self-respect. And that's really the most important thing. And getting healthy, that really is the most important thing.
That's awesome. And you had a goal, didn't you?
Oh, yes.
When you went, I think a lot of people fixate on just how they want to look in a certain bathing suit or in clothes. And we know people often do that. You need a goal, don't you? And what was your goal when you went there? I know you got self-respect when you went to the program, but when you went there, what was your goal?
My goal was to lose enough weight that somebody would hire me. I wanted to be on television. I wanted to be on radio. I'm a writer. I'm an entrepreneur. That's what I wanted to do, okay? And I wanted to be able to put my 5 children at that time who were ready to college. So I needed a job, and I wanted to put my kids through college.
And you have to hear what you say.
And I did.
I'm saying you did way that and more. And here's the thing, here's someone who, if you met her then, you'd never ever guess that she was the same person today. But it can happen, and I think that if you have self-respect and the goals, it could really happen. Let me ask you a question. If someone who's watching our show today, how could they make some long-term changes, the kind of changes you made? What does it take now that you know what you know today?
Well, what it takes is deciding that you want to do something for you. What it takes is deciding that you want to start liking yourself. I mean, I hear all the time people say, I don't have time to go to a Weight Watchers meeting. Half hour once a week. You don't have a half hour once a week for yourself. And what we get in the Weight Watchers meetings are all these people that are in there doing it together. You're not alone. I thought I was the only person in the whole world that could eat a half gallon of ice cream a day. Now, I only ate vanilla because everybody knows chocolate's fattening, right? So I would eat the ice cream. And I got into a meeting, and every person that works with us, every coach, every leader, every receptionist has had a weight problem, sat in our classes, lost the weight, gone through training, so that when you come, we know. I used to walk by I hear people say I walk by the bakery, and I say, I know what happens. The donuts say, Florine, come get me. And how do you handle that, okay? And you know how you do that, Dr. Nandi? One day at a time. I never ask myself to do anything but for one day at a time. I've written a book called Talk to the Mirror, because I get up every single morning and I look in the mirror. I don't care if it's snowing, raining, whatever the day is, or how I feel. I could feel, out of sorts. I don't want to say depressed, out of sorts. And I look in the mirror and I say, good morning, Florine. Today's going to be a good one, and you can do anything you want if you want to do it bad enough for one day. And I never ask myself to do anything for more than one day. And tomorrow I'll wake up. I might eat all the ice cream in the world, but I'm going to make another commitment and have a good day.
So 3 things I'll tell you. Florine said, number 1, it's not about a diet. It's really about feeling good about yourself.
Right.
Number 2 is, have a goal, have something that you're trying to get to. Number 3, she also said, have a tribe. We call in Nandi Nation is that when we talk about having people around you, have a tribe that can support you through every goal, every journey. That includes your fitness or your weight loss goals. So it's been such a pleasure having you.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for giving the advice. This is an amazing woman. For more information on Weight Watchers, go to weightwatchers.com. And to learn more about Florine, go to askflorine.com. We'll be right back with 2 more people who have turned their lives around and are now helping others. Please stay with us.
I need someone to remind myself every single day, what is the goal? And that being reminded of it keeps you focused on it.
Accountability and having a tribe. back. You're watching the Dr. Nandi Show. And our next guests are success stories, and I love those. We're going to talk to them and see what they did and what you can do to be successful in the long term. Our first guest is the amazing Michael Daggett, has been a member of the Air National Guard for 24 years. Thank you for that service.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
You bet.
However, his job was in jeopardy due to his weight. And welcome, Michael, please, everybody. And our second guest is certified master trainer, two-time world record endurance cyclist and nutritionist Danielle Girdano. Wow, I did not know that. Amazing. Such a pleasure to have you. So before we begin, tell me about what has been both your challenges and your success stories. I'll start with you, Michael. What has been your challenge?
So my challenge, I've been active duty Air Force for 25 years, and so much of my career I was overweight. And I would lose just enough weight to pass the fitness test, and I never really understood that I had to be healthy. I would just do what it took to lose the weight, and it caught up to me. My job was in jeopardy, and the Air Force decided they were going to kick me out. And rather than take that, I took my life back, and I changed my life completely.
And Danielle, what about you? What was your challenge?
You know, really for me, it was about behavior change, and it was about trying to break the cycle of bad habits, which I think is very common for a lot of people, where you get into a cycle and you just simply don't know how to get out of it.
At what point in your life was that? Because you're an amazing person, you're a world record holder. But is that obviously before that happened?
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, this was, my first world record was back in 2010. I started my weight loss journey in 2009.
Wow.
And, you know, it really was that. It was a journey. I think in our society, there's a lot of quick fixes.
Absolutely. Fast food for everything, right?
Absolutely.
And drive-through, I should say, yeah.
Absolutely. And there's that instant gratification. And when you really get the mindset around, it's not instant gratification. This is a lifestyle. This is truly what I want to do, not because, oh, I have to go to the gym, or, oh, I have to eat something leafy green.
To look like this.
No, I like to do this.
Or somebody else told me.
Exactly.
Yeah. What if you got here? It sounds pretty interesting. Is that a PVC pipe?
It is a PVC
Are we going
pipe,
plumbing?
but no, we're not. We're going to talk about neurotransmitters inside of the brain, specifically behavioral change and emotional eating. So I want you to think of each one of these little PVC pipes as an individual thought. I'm way too overweight, it's gonna take too long, my body image might be bad, I might have self-esteem. Once you get enough of these thoughts together in the brain, they start to go back and forth very, very quickly, and they create pathways. Those pathways, I want you to picture as kind of like this little skinny exit here that eventually goes into a larger, that eventually forms an entire pipe. The reason why behavior change takes a little bit of time to correct and to reverse is because you have to work backwards, and you have to break down those patterns and replace them with healthy patterns. Exactly.
And Michael, how did you fulfill your challenge? What did you do to overcome your obstacles?
I got really lucky early on, and one of my closest friends, I called him my wingman. And he woke up every single morning, and I told him, I sent an email to him, and I said, Jeff, I'm in a world of hurt. I'm at a point where the Air Force is going to kick me out. I need some help. And he said, I got this. And that was the end of the conversation. And the next morning I woke up to an email from him. He said, good morning, Mike. Day 68, we've got this. And that was it.
Nice.
The next day, 67, 65, 64. So what that taught me is every single morning he took it upon himself to remind me of what my goal was. And I learned after all that transpired, I'm like, I need someone to remind myself every single day, what is the goal? And that being reminded of it keeps you focused on it.
Accountability and having a tribe. We talk about it all the time on the shows, that having a tribe, if you do yourself, you can, but human beings are, hardwired to live in tribes and thrive in tribes. When you do that, you have accountability. Danielle, what did you do to overcome your obstacles?
You know, it was a lot of perseverance of why are you doing this? I'm a big proponent of external goals, because you're going to have those weeks. You're going to have those bad weeks where you're not going to lose the pounds, you're not going to, go down a pant size. And having an external goal that's you against something inanimate, right? Or a 5K, or
whatever it is,
going up a certain amount of stairs. Exactly. It allows you to have that goal setting that isn't focused around the scale or around, a particular piece of clothing, which helps motivate, because you can feel like you're still moving forward and you're still having those metrics of success.
And I think having purposeful movement, purposeful eating habits are so important, right? So you have a goal and then you start somewhere and then you try to reach it and overcome it. But the key is it can't be because someone told you or the way you look, because it's got to be deeper. It's got to come from inside. And then we talk about all the time in the show, your best relationship and your first relationship has to be about yourself. Until it happens, nothing changes. Would you agree with that?
Totally agree. Yep. And you have to do this for you. And there's nothing else on the planet that feels good as when you take control of your own life. And when you do that because you truly want to, it's lasting.
Absolutely. And lasting, tell me about lasting versus the short-term stuff, Danielle.
Well, I mean, again, I think that goes back to behavioral change. You know, just talking about nutrition, it goes down to it's not the amount of calories I'm eating necessarily, it's nutritional density I'm getting for that calorie that I'm exchanging. And I think a lot of people get lost in that, where they'll eat something that isn't very nutritionally dense because it's 140 calories versus eating something that is nutritionally dense that might be 200 calories, and they get lost in the calories and not the actual nutritional exchange that they're getting. And that goes a long way for that long-term
and there's
change.
so much misinformation about that. We only have a minute. I'd like to ask you a question that they told me from social media. Ella from New York said, I start all gung-ho, but always seem to get off track. What's the best way to get back on? 30 seconds. Danielle?
External goals. It has to be about more than just the scale or a pant size. It has to be about what your true motivation is, honest and true motivation.
Michael?
Set an attendance goal, not performance goals. If you set an attendance goal, do something every single day, do as little as possible so that you can build the habit of doing it. Then the performance goals will follow.
95% of life is?
95% is showing up.
Showing up, baby. You got to show up every day. And his buddy was telling him, day 68, have external goals, have a purpose of why you're doing it. I think it's Ella, right? Ella, you got to have a reason why you're doing it. If you don't have a reason, it's never going to work. I appreciate both of you coming on, sharing your expertise. Sorry about that. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. To learn more about Michael, go to michaeldaggett.com. He also has a podcast at fatdag.com. And Danielle also has a great website that can be found at daniellegirdano.com. Up next, we'll talk to a doctor about just what types of food we should eat and what we should stay away from. Coming up next.
We want healthy fats. We want fats like avocado oil, macadamia nut oil, olive oil is another one, and MCT oil, which a lot of people may not know about.
Welcome back. You're watching the Dr. Nandi Show. Our next guest is Dr. Lori Shemek, the author of How to Fight FATFlammation and the best-selling author of Fire Up Your Fat Burn. So she's been recognized by the Huffington Post as one of the top health and fitness experts, and you may have seen her on Dr. Oz as well. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course. I love this. So tell me about FATFlammation.
Well, our fat cells, we have about 100 billion of them circulating throughout our body, if you will. And when the types of foods that we eat tend to create more fat storage. Okay?
Sure.
And so when we have more fat storage, the fat cell becomes or acts as if it's infected. It's an immune response.
Almost like it's inflamed, right?
Right, exactly. And it begins to, emit a low level of inflammation, and this has a metabolic effect that slows down the metabolism. And so when that happens, we're gaining weight. We don't know why. The types of foods people are eating are primarily to blame. And so one of my missions is to absolutely help people choose the right foods. And obviously in my book I talk about that. But the right foods are always anti-inflammatory foods.
It's amazing what she's talking about. If you pay real close attention, it's interesting. It's kind of it's a vicious cycle. So first you eat the foods that lead to fat storage, and then the fat then gets inflamed, the FATFlammation. And the FATFlammation does one other thing, including building up fat. What you're doing is you're also burning less calories because it's reducing your metabolism. So a lot of you say, what's going on? Why am I not able to lose the weight? And that's what's happening.
Right.
And the key is what you put in your mouth, isn't it?
It absolutely is. So the types of foods most people are eating are refined processed foods, or they go on a very low-fat, low-calorie diet or a high-carb diet. And what this is doing is setting you up for disaster, really, because if you're on a low-calorie diet, which a lot of people do, you are not taking in enough nutrients and not enough nutrition, and so your metabolism slows down. And that means low nutrition, low energy is a disaster for weight gain, really.
Because your body thinks, you know, just to simplify it, is that when you're taking less in, I better conserve it because I'm not going to get any.
Exactly.
Remember, we have not always had plentiful food. It's just a problem that we have now. So human beings, relatively primitive creatures, because we have, goes back to ancestry, right? When we were food deprived, and so our body goes back and says, if we're not putting enough in, we must have enough. So it starts storing more to get ready for the hard times. And then what happens?
Well, we can thank insulin, the fat storage hormone, for that, because insulin it likes to store fat and it likes to keep it there. So the types of foods that people eat are triggering insulin pretty much all the time because people are eating pretty much all the time. And the types of foods, the refined processed foods
And so we're talking about sugars, simple sugars like candy bars and all this kind of stuff.
Processed junk foods, cookies, cakes, pretzels, those kinds of things. All the things we all know aren't healthy for us, right? But then there's another side to this too. There are foods out there that people don't know they're eating. So sugar is notorious for promoting weight gain and triggering insulin. And the food manufacturers are putting insulin, putting these
sugars,
sugar
right?
to almost every packaged processed product out there. And so people don't know that they're creating this weight gain havoc, really, because of the foods that they're eating. This sugar is in foods like ketchup. It's in chicken broth, if you can believe it. It's in foods like whole wheat bread. People believe they're buying something very healthy when in fact 2 slices of whole wheat bread can raise your blood sugar as much as 2 tablespoons of sugar. Yogurt's another, quote, healthy food item that can have as much sugar as a candy bar.
And that's when you have added sugar. So it's really important to look at the label, right? You flip it around, and then even though it says low fat, no fat in the top, when you turn it around, the first ingredient that'll be on there will be high fructose corn syrup or some sort of added sugars. It's key to understand what you're saying is that when you look at the label, that you have to see the added sugars that are there. Yogurt may be good for you, but if they put a bunch of sugar in it to make you eat it, then it ain't good for you no more. So that's the thing. What about burning fat? What about foods? Because people would love to know, what foods can we eat to burn fat?
Okay, so foods that burn fat are leafy greens, veggies of all kinds, primarily because they're high in antioxidants and polyphenols. And these polyphenols actually help increase the health of your mitochondria, which are the little cells in the little engines in your cells, if you will, that really create a healthier you and increase the number of them. So inflammation, low-level inflammation, and poor mitochondrial health go hand in hand, okay?
Vicious cycle.
And poor mitochondrial health and weight gain go hand in hand. So you want as many veggies as you can. I always advocate half a plate of them if you can do that. And also we want healthy fats. We want fats like avocado oil, macadamia nut oil, olive oil is another one, and MCT oil, which a lot of people may not know about. And MCT oil is short for medium chain triglycerides that actually help increase the mitochondria in your cells and increase the health of them. So that's the key to optimal health, is to do that on a cellular level.
And as we talk about, get your veggies every day, and it's not just because it's just got vitamins and minerals, it can actually burn fat. So great advice, Dr. Shemek. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And up next, a woman who was an exercise guru and realized that wasn't the end-all, be-all. That's up next. Please stay with us.
I was fit, I was strong, I could diet, and still I was struggling. I was depressed and I couldn't sustain it.
Hello, you're watching the Dr. Nandi Show, and with us now is Patricia Moreno. Patricia has been training, mentoring, and educating people for more than 30 years. In an effort to end her own weight struggle, she's created the Intensati Method, a workout which combines her expertise in fitness, dance, martial arts, yoga, nutrition, meditation, and spiritual practices. Wow. So, welcome her, please. Thank you. That's amazing.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
Oh, yeah, you're amazing. Tell us about your personal journey. I mean, you've had quite an amazing journey from one place to another, and you've gone someplace and come back. Tell us all about it.
Well, I grew up in Northern California. I'm one of 11 kids, number 9 of 11 kids.
Wow.
And my mom really struggled with her weight, as you can imagine, right? Somebody who is pregnant, all that, and she really cared about how she looked and her weight, and she struggled a lot. So she would go from extreme methods of dieting, like fasting for a month, and then she would go to binging. And she couldn't find that middle road. And when I was about in 3rd grade, I remember there was a day that my parents put me on the scale. And they put me on the scale because I was a chubby kid, and I just remember when they looked at the number, there was a gasp. There was like, and it was 130 pounds. I was a 3rd grader, and I just read in that moment, something's not good here.
You read it because from your parents looked the nonverbals.
The nonverbals. And I was like, whoa, there's something wrong with me. And then my dad would be watching TV and having me do squats while he was, you know, counting the squats. And my mom took me to diet doctors. And back then they would do this thing where they would inject cow's urine. Did you ever hear of this? They would inject cow's urine to, because it was supposedly meant to increase your metabolism. And I was on diets after diets after diets. By the time I was 12, I was 212 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
So, and my relationship to myself, it just was like, I was ashamed to eat. I was embarrassed because I had no structure, no rules. I only knew that being this weight was bad. And then there was a point when I was 12 years old, I had this infection in my arm, and I was taken to the hospital. And it was life-threatening, and the infection wasn't stopping. And one night, they were going to do an exploratory surgery, and they told my parents, because it's so close to my heart, they might have to amputate the arm, but they wouldn't know until the next day.
Was this when they were injecting urine, you think, the same time?
This was around that same time, that same time. It turned out to be a bone marrow infection. But what happened was the night before the surgery, my father came in, and he was very much into the power of the mind and visualization. And he sat me down, and everybody left. And he had me go into a deep meditative state, which I didn't know, and he says, close your eyes. And I want you to imagine there's this little army of men marching into your arm.
Oh my
now
gosh.
See what they're wearing. They're all wearing little uniforms. Now they're picking out all of the infection and putting it in these pails. Now they're marching the infection out of your body. Now they're closing it up and filling it up and packing it up, and it's gone. And the next day, the infection was gone.
Wow.
The infection was gone. And why I tell that story right here is because then I went on to teach aerobics. I went on to do national championships. I loved exercise. But then I picked up the same habits of extreme measures, working out 5-6 hours a day, really crazy diets, even doing things like abusing drugs, because my mantra was thin at any cost. I knew that my weight equaled my worth, and that's all that mattered.
And that was cemented at when you were in your 3rd grade, wasn't it?
Yeah, 3rd grade.
And so this is, again, I tell parents, what you tell your kids at a young age is cemented. You are their role models. You are, everything to them. And what you tell them really sticks. And that stayed with you to adulthood, didn't it?
Yeah, and I really felt like my life would be over if I gained weight. But my weight went up and down and up and down. But my fitness career was going great. I was sponsored by Nike. I was 2nd in the world, national champion of fitness. I mean, super fit, 2nd in the world. So you can imagine, I was fit, I was strong, I could diet, and still I was struggling. I was depressed, and I couldn't sustain it.
Because inside, there was a whole different story.
Because inside, there was just this fear that I wasn't enough the way that I was. And I was doing a television show. I had this morning television show. It was a live TV show every single morning. I got super fit to get the job, but as usual, I kept doing this. I gained, I don't know, maybe 20 pounds. And the producer took me aside one day, and he just gave me a talking to. Kind of, it was the same moment as being on the scale.
On the 3rd grade.
Where somebody's looking at me in that way where they're saying, no, you're not okay this way. And you know, that was a great moment because it was a defining moment for me.
And your worth was again defined by an external structure, the scale or somebody else telling you what you look like.
Right.
This is super important. What she's saying is that, you know, she's come all the way here now and overcome this because of the fact she's now taken a whole different goal now. And we've got about a minute left, but
yeah.
Tell us what you've done today to be where you are.
Well, so what I realized is everything after we say after the words I am becomes our identity. And I was saying, I'm fat, I have to lose weight. I'm fat, I have to work out. I'm fat. When I realized through that what my dad had taught me and the power of the mind and the visualization that we have to really be able not only to see where we want to go and really believe that's a possibility, we have to change the language we use on ourselves every day. We've got to become our own best friends. We really have to use compassion and kindness. You can't hate your body enough and hate yourself enough to turn happy one day. It doesn't work. So it has to be an inside job.
And it's got to be consistent, doesn't it? It's got to be.
It's got to be a practice.
Yeah, you got to do it all the time. We'll have more with Patricia as she takes us through an Intensati class. It's interesting stuff. Please stay with us.
Now go like this. Touch the heart. That's where your power is. Courage to do new things. Courage to get out of your comfort zone. It starts with recognizing you have everything you need. You have the blessings you need to take the challenge.
Welcome back. You're watching the Dr. Nandi Show, and we're back with Patricia Moreno. Thank you for staying with us.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And we've talked about positive mantras mixed with exercise. Now, Patricia's going to show us how it's done. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
This is going to be fun?
It's going to be
You
so
guys
fun.
ready? All right, take it away.
Okay.
What are we going to do?
Let's do it. We're going to have everybody stand up. Okay. We're going to hit the music. And all we're going to do is get you guys marching in place.
All right.
So as you march in place, you're already stimulating the bottoms of your feet, getting your mind ready. You're telling your mind, I'm taking some action today. Now you're going to circle the arms like this, but as fast as you can. The name of this move is called willpower. You're training that inner whiner to be quiet, and your inner warrior is going to take over. I'm going to say something, you repeat after me. Are you ready?
Ready.
You say yes, yes. Are you ready? Yes. Put a smile on your face. I am powerful beyond measure. Powerful beyond measure. I am powerful beyond measure. Powerful beyond Woo! Measure. I am powerful beyond measure. Powerful beyond measure. And then you clap, 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 clap. 8, 7, 6, 5, arms up and cheer. Let me hear a cheer. High five your neighbor.
High five my neighbor. Good job. That was awesome. Oh, yeah. So, what'd you guys think? I said, what'd you guys think? Awesome. So for those watching at home, really you gave a lot of positive intention, didn't you? So,
Yeah.
so many people, and you're watching out there, they get so many negative messages, right?
Right.
And what you're doing is they're having fun and exercising, but you're telling their minds and their bodies that they can do it. Positive affirmation.
You got to get your mind on your side. If you can't win in your mind, how are you going to win in your life? And you have total power to train that inner voice to be an inner warrior, not an inner whiner. And we've got to train it, and it needs the exercise because there's a strong negativity bias. We all go to the negative first. And things like losing weight, it's not easy. It's hard. You're always up against your habits and being in discomfort. But when you say, I can do hard things, I can do hard things, I've done hard things before, I got this. There's something that switches and you find a way. And that's what you have to be able to do.
And that's huge. And here's the thing. People believe that losing weight is hard, and so they make their behaviors. Human beings are like computers. We're hardwired. If you believe something to be true, it'll be a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Of course.
So do what she just said. Have positive affirmations and make it happen. Up next, my prescription for healthy eating as a way of life. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You've been watching the Dr. Nandi Show, and thank you for staying with us. So how do we maintain a healthy lifestyle? Here are my prescriptions for you. First, get your head in the game. Eating the right way begins and ends with the space between your ears. Now, once your mind understands the importance of great nutrition, the rest follows accordingly. Second, the way to the heart is through the gut. Emotional eating is detrimental. Work to fill the hurt and needy heart with spirituality and purpose, and don't let unhealthy eating habits fill the void. Next, you are what you eat. Stop worrying about what the media says about what we should weigh and look like. Eat to maintain a healthy weight and size for you. And finally, an ounce of prevention is absolutely worth a pound of cure. Eat until you're 2/3 full and choose green leafy veggies, critical habits that you should all do. Avoid red meat and saturated fat, and these are clogging your arteries every day. Now, to stay informed about today's topic, learn about healthy living and how to become your own health hero, please visit AskDrNandy.com. Also, I'd love to hear from you. Be sure to search Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, and search Partha Nandi MD and join our discussion. Lastly, there's a beautiful word in the Hindi language that literally means the light in me honors the light in you, and that word is namaste. So namaste to each and every one of you. I thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.